could achieve my dream with all India rank 63, and hopefully I'll get IAS this time. So this is a short journey. Like this is a long journey explained in the short words, I would say that. So yes.
Yes. Okay. I request all the attendees to, if you have any questions, to write in the questions bar. So we may go forward to the next question. So could you please highlight some challenges which engineering students face when they enter the preparatory stage of preparation of UPSC?
Yes. See, engineering students have this technical background in the 4 year of their preparation. Because see, in 10th till 10th standard, we read the social sciences like history, geography, then political science, and all those things till 10th standard. But after 10th standard, we lose the connection with these social sciences, and in civil services preparation, these subjects have lot of importance. Because as I hope that you people know the syllabus. In the syllabus, you may find that in general studies paper and in optional, you people have chance, but in general studies preparation, there are humanities subjects like history is there, polity is there, geography is there. So we lose the touch in these 4 years, and in 10+2 also. So initially there will be inertia in the preparation, because many concepts we may not able to recall. So we have to take little extra efforts to match with other students, I think.
Also, one question Sham highlighted: why IAS? What motivated you? What was in that post Indian Administrative Services that drive you towards cracking the civil services exam?
See, yes, I should tell this incident. When I was in the 10th standard, the then district collector of our district, Dr. Srikar Pardeshi sir, I was inspired by his work in our district. He brought so many programs, and I was the beneficiary of those programs. Like the programs for the welfare of the students, the programs for building of small check dams in the district. So students were part of those programs, and one person could change so many things in just 1 or 2 years. So I thought that one person can bring lot of changes if he has ability and if he is willing to do so. So at that time I decided that okay, I want to go for IAS. So again, after achieving IPS also, I always felt that IAS provides you diversity. IAS, you can work with the health sector, you can work with the economics, in the economic in the financial sector, in the health sector, in all the sectors. So the diversity and dynamic is the motto of IAS. So I was naturally attracted by IAS, we can say.
That's so nice of you. So one question, at times we hear people looking for backup options too when entering this preparation. So how do you see this ideology of people keeping a backup option for it?
See, different people have different opinions regarding this. I always feel that if there is safety net, then sometimes you are comfortable. If there is any safety net, you know that if you are going on a height, and you know that if there is any safety net, so sometimes okay, you may feel okay, if I fall down, then I may not die, I might not die. But I always believe that you have to push yourself for such kind of exam. You have to come out of your comfort levels to achieve that level of dedication, hard work, consistency. But again, it is not bad to have option B. And basically and that's why I completed my engineering. Otherwise I would have gone for any humanities subjects, but I completed my engineering so that I could have any option B if I don't clear the civil services exam. But we can say that it is a calculated risk. We can take the calculated risk and go for CSE.
Okay.
So just now you talked about you need to have some pushing factor while entering this preparation, but we see that you hail from some village background. So what this sometimes pulling you back, or it was something natural you just kept going on?
Yes, I would say there were so many factors. But I had many friends, and especially my family, my father. When I graduated, I called my father and I asked him whether I should pursue my dream or I should join any corporate job. And at that time, he helped me to get over this dilemma, and he said to me, "You should pursue your dream." Because as you said, from the village background, uh, there is this inferiority complex in the people who hail from villages, that their English is not good or they may not do good in this kind of exams. But I could get out of those inferiority complexes when I was in my graduation, with the help of my teachers, with the help of my friends. So we can say that yes, there will be many pulling factor, but every time I used to do the extra effort, I used to run for extra mile to go beyond that.
When what is the correct time to start the preparation of UPSC? Like what Disha just asked, when should we start the preparation? Like in first year, second year, or which is the apt time for it?
I think every engineering college have a tradition. I strongly believe in that, and every engineering college have many programs, many cultural programs, and I participated in all the programs. I participated in all the technical events, all the cultural programs, everything. So I would request all of you to enjoy this moment of your life also, because these days won't come back. And I would suggest you to start maybe in the third year or final year. That would be great, because UPSC preparation won't take much more than 1 year. So from the first year also, if you are able to spend, just start reading of the newspaper and get associated with the current affairs, and start slowly reading for the subjects like history and all that, like a story. Not a serious preparation the first year, second year, but get in touch with these subjects. But in the third year and especially final year, you can boost your preparation and you can start more vigorously.
Fine.
Okay.
Also,
So we also see that you cleared the examination in the first attempt itself, and thereby, but you were not satisfied with your rank that much, and hence you moved on to the second attempt, wherein you grabbed 63. So, what changes did you bring in your second attempt, which you think might were not there in the first attempt, and they proved to be fatal, not that much beneficial?
Yes. Yes. In my first attempt, I could not focus on few subjects, especially my essay preparation, and I got very bad marks in essay. But in my second attempt, I wrote few test series for essay, and I was very confident about essay. The second changes which I made was, again, I refined my sources and the writing practice, which is more important, because your mains marks have lot of contribution, 90% contribution in your selection. So I again improved my answer writing practice, and finally my interview. I hope the marks are still not out. Otherwise, I would have talked about my marks. Uh, but yes, in my interview preparation also, I brought many changes, because once you are in the service, that confidence you carry. Because again, as Mukulesh was talking about, I it was I at that time there was no need to think about plan B, because I already was in Indian Police Service, and that, like, you are confident about that. That okay, if you don't clear, still you are in the service. That confidence which you have, that boosts your preparation. In my interview preparation also. So again, I made changes in every stage of preparation, which helped me to get this rank.
okay, fine. Also, from an undergraduate's point of view, did you face any dilemma of focusing on college academics and joining corporate jobs, or directly to start UPSC preparation right from the start?
I always think that people see dreams. Everyone sees dreams. So once you see any dream, you have to take steps to achieve that dream. And when you are in the college life, I always feel that you should enjoy every stage of your life. So if you are in college, you should enjoy your college life. If you are doing your preparation, you should enjoy the preparation. So my motto was, if I am in the college, I was very passionate about my engineering also. I told you I belong to the mechanical engineering, and I was more towards the thermal engineering, thermodynamics. I was more interested in it. So and I'm good at those subjects also. So I was good at those subjects, and uh, that was my plan was not to associate with any corporate job. So I never thought about corporate job, but that dilemma will be always there. Should I go for the corporate job, or should I start directly the CSC preparation? That dilemma will be there. But again, my friends, you have to take that calculated risk, that you have to do your SWOT analysis. Basically, you have to do the SWOT analysis. What is your strength, weakness? Okay, you have to analyze. And definitely, yes, your dream, that dream is important. If you saw any dream, then definitely you have to give importance to your dream also. So I think that you can definitely resolve that dilemma.
So just now you mentioned that you were quite good at the core concepts of mechanical engineering, but then too we see you moving towards optional as anthropology. So could you please tell or brief why you didn't choose your traditional core engineering subject as an option?
A very good question. Very good question. Because see, that question many people ask me in my mock interview, that you belong to mechanical engineering, and why did you take anthropology where there is biology? So there is a see. I always think that optional should not be selected on one factor. There are multiple factors to select the optional. One important factor is your interest. Though I was interested in mechanical engineering, second, you have to see availability of any coaching, and third, availability of good material. Fourth, what is the recent trend? What is the recent trend of that subject? Now, for any technical subject, it is very difficult to score beyond 300. Yes, there are people who have scored very good marks, but again, it is not the everyday like nobody can score not every student can score that much marks, and I was not willing to take that risk. And see how it turned out. I am first in my home state Maharashtra with 325 marks in anthropology in my very first attempt, and I am overall fourth in all India in my anthropology marks. So I think that was the better choice I did at that time.
Okay. So, regarding the coaching institute, is it important to join some coaching institute, and especially in Delhi, so that we can secure a good rank?
I always think, see, I hope you people are not posting it anywhere, but I always see, we just waste this 2 lakhs rupees to get to know that, okay, classes are not needed for us. Because why? See, I always suggested that, let's say if I go for prelims, if I go for my first attempt, and if I don't clear that attempt, I should not feel that if I would have joined the classes, I would have cleared the exam. That feeling should not be there. Okay, so I don't think it is mandatory to join any class. There are many online platforms available now, and again, I would like to share here. We will discuss about this, but through my YouTube channel, through my Telegram channel, I have been helping so many aspirants, around 10,000 aspirants since last year. So, if you get any such kind of guidance, I don't think that you require any class, and definitely ऐसा नहीं है that if you join any class and you will get selection by UPSC. No, this is nothing like that. But classes provide you that in the minimum time you can cover the syllabus. That is one benefit of classes. But if you are willing to hard work, and if you are willing to do the consistent hard work over a 1 year, then definitely you don't need classes. And if you are very good at self-study, then definitely you can clear this exam. And there are many examples who didn't join any class but cleared this exam in very first attempt.
So we see that self-made notes have an unarguable importance in this preparation. So would you like to share some particular strategy about your note-making strategy?
Yes. I always felt that your notes are your own notes. because you know what you understand. So I always felt that own notes are important, because I will tell you one incident of mine. This will be very important. You people must be knowing the syllabus, and you must have seen the past year question papers. Now, in the general studies one, we have word history. In mains general studies one, we have world history, and every year they ask one or two questions from the world history, only one or two questions. So what I did, I made short notes of world history, and I never ever read those notes at home. I used to read those notes when I used to travel in metro, when I used to go for any class, when I used to go for any test series. I used to revise those notes. So I saved a lot of time by making these notes. So for making notes, you have to understand first. There are stages in your reading. First, you get the understanding of concepts. So when you understand the concepts, then you move forward. Then you understand all overall comprehensive of that subject, and then after that you make the whole comprehensive notes to understand the subject, and then after comprehensive notes you move for the short notes. Short notes are those crisp notes which you can revise one day before the exam, because the syllabus is very vast, and to revise something one day before exam you need very crisp notes like 10-15 pages. So yes, that notes making is very important, and this was my strategy.
Okay. So UPSC is not actually is a very easy examination. It's just like JEE or NEET, where lakhs of people prepare for the examination and only a few people get selected. So was there something unconventional that you followed during the preparation which gave you an upper hand in comparison of other people?
It will be difficult to say so, because I didn't prepare for JEE. You people did. I prepared for my state set exam in for my engineering, but my friends, to clear any exam in the world, 2-3 things are needed for you. One is isolation. Isolation from all those things which distract you. Second is perseverance. Perseverance is very much needed. Third is sacrifice. Again, sacrifice of those things which you love, and those things which are hurdles in your preparation. These things you have to follow, and at the same time consistent, dedicated hard work over a period of 1 year. That was the main mantra which I followed. But being an engineering student, I always managed hard work with the smart work, because we engineers always go for the jugaad. We do this jugaad every time, and see, because we did jugaad, if you know, in the first Mars mission. I hope you know this. So this jugaad was smart work. Somehow I used to manage that. So with my hard work, I used to associate it with this smart work. I think it like in the prelims to eliminate the options, you have to use all the techniques which we used in JEE or your other preparation. Okay, so these I don't think these techniques are known by this humanities student, because they are not used to this MCQ exam. So definitely these techniques help me in the my prelims preparation. So yes, there's some unconventional things I applied in my prelims, definitely prelims.
Okay. What are your thoughts about other services like Indian Foreign Services Examination, Indian Foreign Services and Forest Services, and the other revenue services?
I hope you people know this. UPSC conducts lots of examination. One is civil services exam. Other is your Indian engineering services exam. That exam, I hope you people know this. And in Indian civil service, this civil services exam, there are 24 services. There are some Group A services, Group B services, 2 All India services, Indian Administrative Service, Indian Police Service, and Indian Foreign Service is a Group A service. I hope I would like to tell you this. Everyone serves the country in their own way. So all these services are very important, and they serve a very important role in the development and growth of our country. And many people go for Indian Foreign Service also. Many people put foreign service as their first option also. So these services are also contribute our country in their own way. And Indian Forest Service, again, very good service, because this is an all India service. This is an all India service. There are three all India services. One is Indian Administrative Service, second is Indian Police Service, and third is Indian Forest Service. These three are all India services, and many perks are associated with these services also. So every service is very good, and you can whether you join administrative service or revenue service, you are serving our country in your own way. So I think that is the best answer for this.
Okay, what are your views on doing UPSC preparation after doing the IIM studies? Does management study help in the administration process which you will be doing in further IS?
See, IAS is a role of diversity. IAS is a role of responsibility, and you will have a lot of responsibilities. Yes, definitely. The more you have experience, the more you can serve the country in the better way. But we have got people who have just done their graduation, and after graduation in the humanities also, BA, BSc, and after that they go for the civil services preparation, and they are doing excellent job on the field. So there is no as such stereotype or no as such formula that if you go for the IM study and after that you can do better. But because there is 2 year training to you, 2 years of training, and in the training you get to learn from A to Z of the civil services. And yes, definitely you will get in the probationary period, the grooming which is done by all these academies, it is excellent. So if you are going to join the civil services and if you are hoping that okay, IIM study will give me a lot of experience, no, I don't think so. If you are going to do for IIM for your own interest, then go for it. And then after that, if you are willing to go for civil services, that is different scenario. But to get just experience, if you want to go to IIM, I don't think that will be a wise option.
So, how to study basic NCRTs added with subsidiary materials in according with the current affairs? Since we have to balance all the studies regarding the current affairs too and the theory part too, so how to manage it?
I think your preparation is in stages. I always think this is a pyramid. In the basic section, we got NCRTs and we got standard books and we got current affairs. This is 60% of your syllabus. So first, when you are in the graduation, you can start NCRT reading, and current affairs is what? You are reading newspaper anyway, daily newspaper, and the leftover portion can be covered from any magazine provided by any institute. Okay, so like Vision Eyes. Okay, so we can cover our this current affairs from that. We can prepare for the NCRT when we are in the graduation, and other subsidiary material like standard books. Okay, so you have to scale it up. Once you are done with the NCRTs, then you have to scale it up to the standard books. Okay, so because NCRT will give you this basic understanding of the subject, and once it is done, then you can move to the standard books where the concepts are explained more in detail. So gradually the process will happen, not on one day, that you will get to know everything. So this process will happen gradually. So you have to focus on this gradual preparation also. Aditya, you are asking something. I think your voice is not audible. Your voice is not audible. Are you? Your mic.
Mine. Fine.
If
Okay, Aditya, you may go on. You have your voice is audible now. Fine.
No, his voice is not audible to me.
Yeah, okay. I'll ask the next question. What is your say on politicization of bureaucracy? How much it is means how much up to how much extent the politics is influencing the bureaucrats in India? What's your say?
See, this is about perception. What perception you have in your mind? Because I see this country is run by both. These two are strong pillars. One is politicians, and other is this bureaucrats. Okay, so both have to collaborate on the policy front so that we can move forward. Okay, so at sometimes we as civil see they are elected representatives and they have people's mandate. So whatever policy they bring, we have to design and we have to give our neutral opinion. So this non-partisanship and neutrality, these are basic core values of any civil servant. Okay, so we have to adhere to these values, and whichever government comes to the power, if they have they have some agenda of the people, then we have to address those or we have to formulate policies according to that. But at the same time, public welfare is ultimate motto of any civil servant. So we will always keep in mind while taking action that okay, public welfare is our motto, and our whatever action will be taking, that we have to keep in mind about the public welfare. So at sometimes see stray incidents will be there and because of the system, but that is not the case. uh, Both have to collaborate on the policy front, and because of one or two incidents the entire system gets tainted, right? So don't make this opinion by sitting just outside. When you are the part of the system, definitely you will get to know better. So I don't think that on the large scale there is politicization of bureaucracy. But again, bureaucracy is very strong, and they have a lot of powers in their hands to change our country. Okay, so I don't think in that way.
So Aditya, you may ask the next question. Your voice is still not audible actually. Uh, okay, I'll go with the next question. What are the standard books which we should follow for the preparation?
See, there is this detailed book list. I will share with you people definitely. And first, you should read the NCRTs, and after the NCRTs, for every book, for every subject in the UPSC, we got some standard books. Let's say for history, there is Bipan Chandra, then Spectrum by Rajiv Ahir. For environment, there is Shankar IS and 12th biology. And for economics, we got the 12th NCRT macroeconomics, and there is one book by Shankar Sriram IS. The economics, they have this notes of economics. Then for history, we talk geography. You don't need to rely on any book, but you just have to read NCRTs. That is enough. Or GC Leong. And then for art and culture, there is fine arts NCRT of 11th standard and Nitin Singhania book. So every subject have this detailed book list, and I will share that book list with all of you. And all those materials, their soft copies are shared on my channel. I will share that link with you people, and definitely you people will, I will share the link with Mukulesh, and he will circulate with you people.
That's fine. Yogesh, can you please share some online platforms for UPSC preparation?
See, yes, it is everybody's choice, because I haven't referred to any online platform. So it will be like injustice to few, and like I won't prefer any platform as such, but there are some good platforms like Unacademy is there. Then Unacademy is there, and this not any bigger platform. Vision is there, but see, these they have different niche. the way they prepare is different. Okay, so you can join module wise. Let's say if you face the problem in economics, then you can take the course of economics only. As we discussed, there is no need to join any coaching classes. So if you are getting problem in one subject, then definitely you can join the course for that subject. Okay, but I'm not sure about online platforms, but there are there are multiple free platforms like Study IQ is there, then Only IS is there. These people are sharing good content, so you can refer to their content also.
Okay. So, what about friends? How did you manage the friend circle when you started the preparation, or you were overall isolated with the friend circle, or what was your approach regarding it?
See, हर friend जरूरी होता है, that is true, and see, I was always connected with my friends. See, you get into connect with those who matter to you. That is for sure. Okay. So every friend of mine knew that I was going for CSE preparation, and they were very supportive about this. Okay, because everyone got into corporate job, and I was happy for them that you are doing what you wanted to do for the long time, and I will go for the CSE preparation. I need some time for that, and they were very supportive about this. But whenever I prepared in Delhi, but whenever I used to visit Pune, because there were many friends of mine who were there in Pune, we always met at that time. We used to meet in the groups, and I always maintained contacts with them. Not on not on everyday basis, but yes, definitely we used to talk. And after my selection, after my first selection, then definitely we are more in touch, and they are doing great in their life, and I'm happy for them. But yes, I maintain contact with my friends.
Okay, fine. Also, in CSE Men's, what are the subjects that should be given more importance than others, which are more scoring than others? So, which subjects
Yes.
you recommend giving more importance?
There are three subjects I would like to tell. Three papers. One is your optional paper. Optional paper is always scoring, because you can predict the question in optional. You prepare like optional subject, we prepare like PG preparation. So we are more thorough about our optional preparation, and we prepare very seriously. So optional subject is one. Second is your essay. Essay can give you lot of marks just by reading for very few days. In the first attempt, my paper was on 28th of September, and I wrote my first essay in my life on 22nd of September. Okay, but in the second attempt, I gave few days for the essay preparation, but again, essay will give you lot of marks. Third is your ethics, that is GS4. Again, for GS4, you require very minimum time to prepare, and you will get lot of marks in ethics. So these three subjects, they for 1000 marks, because every paper is for 250 marks. So in these 1000 marks, you can definitely score around 600 marks, because 300 to 320 you can score in your optionals, 150 you can score in your essay, and you can score 130 in your ethics. So I always think that if you score 600 marks here, and out of these rest of the three papers, if you score like let's say 300 or 320 marks also, then also you score 920 marks in your GS means, and that is a huge score. Okay, so I hope I always think that these three subjects, they give you a lot of marks, and they increase your chances to get selected.
Okay, fine. Also, regarding the newspaper reading, so can we replace newspaper readings with the newspaper analysis videos which are there on YouTube?
I always think that no one is better to analyze than you, because you know what suits you, only you know. And if you are using the analysis of others, then you are analyzing again that person, so you are creating a barrier there. So there will be subjectivity. We call it two doors of subjectivity, because when we read ourselves, we are creating subjectivity, and we are reading from someone else, we are creating subjectivity two times. But so I strongly recommend you people to read on your own. So I shared one video on YouTube. So you can read newspaper only in 30 minutes, 30 to 35 minutes, maximum 1 hour. You should not give more than 1.5 hour to the newspaper. If you read newspaper carefully, if you know the syllabus perfect, and if you know which article is important for you, which article is not important for you, then definitely newspaper reading is more interesting and more easy. So I won't suggest you to read any analysis of others. Definitely after reading by yourself, you can refer to your that analysis, okay, but read on your own first.
Okay, fine. Also, on the what are the mistakes generally committed by the aspirants while the UPSC preparation?
That is very good question. And there are three things. One is what to do. Second is what not to do. Third is how to do. Now focus on this carefully. What to do? Everybody will tell you what to do. But no one will tell you what not to do and how to do. You see every video on YouTube, everyone will tell you what to do, क्या पढ़ना चाहिए. But no one will tell you how to read it and what not to read. So my friends, in UPSC, one blunder committed by many of the aspirants is misguidance. Don't get misguided by anyone. So don't follow anyone blindly. Check with others. That is one. Second, don't base your strategy based on YouTube videos, on any classes platform. Let's say if I am talking from any class platform, then definitely I have to inflate some of their things, right? But I don't like to endorse any of the class. That's why I started my own channel. So for any strategy, you refer to 2 or 3 candidates and make sure that okay, whatever that person is saying, okay, that is correct, because 2-3 people have suggested that.
Fine. Okay.
That is one thing. The third important thing is many people overread. That means they read many things, right? So I would suggest you not to read 10 books. I would suggest you read one book 10 times. Niklesh?
Yes, fine. So regarding the answer writing in GS, so how should someone start writing these answers? Yeah.
Yes, there is always this inertia in the initial times. There is always this inertia that we never start the answer writing, because always we feel that we may write bad answers. But yes, your start will be that, because first you will read those answers by yourself only. You won't be able to show the answers to others, because you may not able to. It is not possible to explain for the first time. Okay, so you start with small answers, like let's say 50 words, then move to 100 words, then move to 150, then 250. Okay, we have got specific word limit for every question, so you have to adhere to these word limits and start practicing. Okay, so first you have to practice on your own, and then you practice the answers and show them to your peers, show them to your friends, and get it evaluated by them, get their feedback. And third, you may join in a test series. So but first thing is start the answer writing, then other things will definitely happen. So start the answer writing, then definitely you will have the knack of answer writing.
So you said about the sacrifices you have to make during the UPSC preparation. What were your sacrifices in this journey that you would like to us?
I know many people here, they may be from village background. So in village we have this strong attachment with the families, in the urban area also, but I belong to a joint family, and I had this strong attachment with my family. So when I went to the Delhi, I said to all of them that it won't be possible for me to get in contact with them on everyday basis. And I could not attend many family functions. I could not attend many my engagement of my brother. I came home for just one day on my brother's marriage. Okay, so that sacrifice was biggest for me. And second is about the cricket. I like cricket, and okay, playing was another part, but I could not watch cricket also. Many of the matches I could miss, but again that sacrifice worth to give, right? So because I was chasing a bigger dream, to chase the bigger dream sometimes you have to sacrifice these things. And yes, I there were a lot of other things also I could not tell here. But yes, everyone has so many things that are important to them, and definitely this UPSC is such kind of exam. It demands sacrifices from you, and you won't be left alone in this.
So there's a this much vast syllabus of UPSC, and how we can cover this vast syllabus, and what exactly to read and what not to read according to the syllabus.
Yes, always many people think that everything under the sun is the syllabus of the UPSC, but that is not the case. Okay, there are two scales. That is again very important. There are two scales. One is your UPSC syllabus. Second is past year question papers. So whatever you are reading, always have these two skills. I still have the syllabus copy which I printed 4 years back. 5 years back in 2016, I printed that copy. So I have got the same copy till now. That I always read the UPSC syllabus at least once every day. Okay, so when you read the syllabus and when you read the past year question paper, you get some rough idea. Let's say if I'm reading the history, let's say I'm reading the 1857 war, then before reading it, I should go to refer to the past year questions, and I should see which type of questions were asked from this topic. So once I see these questions, I get some rough idea. Okay, I should read this topic like this because questions are asked like this. So these two skills will definitely help you in your preparation to stay closer to your syllabus. Always have the syllabus copy in your hand. Whatever, let's say if you are reading any newspaper article, and that newspaper article talks about the death of any actor, I don't think that is concerned with our syllabus. Okay, so don't waste your time in reading such kind of article. But there is one article about rising petrol prices. Now in the GS3, the resources topic is there, and that rising petrol prices is concerned for our financial and financial condition in our economy. So that is important for you. So when you have the syllabus in your hand, definitely you will stay closer to the preparation, and definitely you will get to know what not to read and what to read. Okay, these two skills you should follow very seriously.
Okay, and what is the basis? What should be the basis of selecting an optional subject? Like you choose anthropology. So what exactly was the basis because of which you choose that subject?
I already answered that question, but again I would like to repeat this. See, what I did when I was in my final year, and I had to choose my optional. What I did, I looked into the syllabus of every optional, like 3-4 optional I selected. Like one was psychology, other was sociology, philosophy, anthropology, and first I looked at syllabus and looked at past year questions. So I felt that okay, I can answer these questions. That was one motive. Second, the anthropology syllabus is very static. Anthro syllabus is very static and can be covered in the minimum time. That was another motive. Third is successive 300 plus scores of anthropology in the successive exam. That was again one motive. And availability of guidance and study material is again very important. Let's say if you choose psychology, optional like psychology, there is very less guidance is available, and we can say material is also very limited available. Okay, so it is very difficult to choose optionals like that when you don't have any guidance and material, study material available with you. Okay, and yes, of course, your interest. If you are interested to study physics, many graduates from IITs, they take mathematics, they take physics as their optional, and they have scored very good. Okay, so you have to look for the interest as well as these other factors which I have talked about.
Okay. So personality test brings an enthralling experience actually. So what is your experience about the personality test?
See, I have given 2 interviews. I will share my experience with both the interviews. And see, these interviews are bit unconventional. You know, yes, they are in the traditional setup, but the question they may ask, the diversity of the question can be anything. So I will tell you. See, in my first interview, I was just 23 years old at that time, and I was very worried at that time. And see, my heart was beating at a very fast rate, and the chairman, you know the traditional setup, right? There will be chairman, there will be 2 members on your the chairman's right hand, 2 members on the chairman's left hand, and you will be sitting at front. So my first chairman was B.S. Bassi sir. You can Google the B.S. Bassi sir photo. This person was a commissioner of police of Delhi. He is a retired cop, and for the entire interview he was looking into my eyes like this, and he never ever smiled in entire interview process. And see, my interview was going on, it was going smooth, it was going fine, I was answering the question. Suddenly the chairman stands up and he comes behind me, and he starts jogging, he starts exercising. Because see, when I gave my first interview, it was 5:30 p.m. And I think it was his time for exercise, and my interview got delayed. Yes, okay. So I think it was time for his exercise, and he was actually, and I was worried, what is at my bag? Okay, actually I was a bit scared at that time in my first interview, and he was doing exercises, so I was worried about that. But yes, I answered most of the questions very good. And in my second interview, the chairman was again good, Manoj Soni sir. Manoj Soni sir pushed me a little bit, but okay. But the second member was lady member, and what was her motto, I don't know. She was asking me all sorts of questions. Now just listen to this. See, I was in IPS, so many questions they asked for police background also. So first question she asked me, now listen to this very carefully. My IPS cadre was Manipur cadre, and you know there is a problem of insurgency in the Manipur. So she asked me, Yogesh, you are posted in the one rural district of Manipur, and you are there in your police station. So suddenly the firing starts from outside. The firing starts from outside, and one of your policemen is injured. So what will you do? I said to man, I will take one loudspeaker and I'll request them to stop the. No. It is not audible to them because they are firing at very fast rate. Okay. Then, ma'am, still I will try to request something to them. No, they are not. They are hesitant. They are not listening to you. Okay, ma'am. So I will start. Firing. But what about your policeman? He is injured. Then I will give him first. No, I will. I said I will give him first aid. First aid. He is hit by the bullet. He got the bullet. So will you give him first aid? So she didn't let me set. So okay. This fine one. Then second, she asked me about judicial activism. Okay, I answered that. Third thing she asked about what is your optional. Fourth thing she asked me is what is why the image of the police is bad in India. Okay, so all sorts of questions she asked me. Like they took me on a ride and asked me every sort of question. Okay, but the best part of this second interview, see, always listen to this very carefully. Again, this question may come to you. Because you are also engineering graduates and you are studying from very good college. One of the member asked me, Yogesh, you have completed your BTech mechanical from very good college and government has spent lot of money on you. because again COEP is the government college. Okay, so isn't this the waste of money that you have done the graduation in engineering, but you are not joining any engineering field and you are coming into the civil services? But in other countries we find that people who have completed their graduation in engineering, they do join the corporate job, they do join the technical field. So you are not contributing our country in that way. So that was a tricky question. I asked the speaker, sir, please just give me a moment. And after that, I answered, sir, I belong to a rural village of this country. And I completed my graduation, I completed my education in the vernacular medium. And then 10 plus 2, I somehow I could manage to learn many things there. And I came to this college. I went to this college. And whatever my personality is, whatever the skill set which I have today, the confidence which I have today, that confidence, that personality, that skill set is given by my college. Because in college, you participate in many events, you make very good friends, you have seniors, you have culture in that college, and that college give you a platform to explore yourself. Okay, so it's not just any engineering college. So it is the college which built you. That examiner was so inspired, so happy by this. And then he started asking me about my background. So where are you from? Because I visited Pune for first time, any metro city for first time when I went for my graduation. Okay, so see, that was one good thing I think which favored on my side. And the last question I would like to, why interview is all about your presence of mind on the day of the interview. On the day of the interview, like we have to go just 1 hour before that, and I was reading newspaper at that time, and there was one article about Harappa. Okay, now I don't know, but the examiner asked me the same question. Examiner asked me exactly same question. So what I read just half hour before, that person was asking me that question. Okay, so you never know what they may ask, so you have to be always prepared. Okay, so interview, again, it is a very good experience. Sometime we can talk about just the interview, because I have a lot of mock experiences also. Just one experience I would like to tell you. See, I was giving one mock interview, and one of the member asked me about, see Yogesh, tell me about how much money government spends on tribal, because anthropology is about tribals, and he was asking me about how much money government spends on tribals, and there is one fixed percentage. I was very adamant. I said that the government spends 10% of all the ministry's fund on the tribal. So I was very adamant on that, and some members said, "Okay, just please, just go and check." And after completion of that interview, that member told me, "Whatever you are talking, that policy is framed by me, because that person is retired Secretary of Government of India." So sometimes this also can happen with you. Okay, so you have to be very sure when you answer, or you always have that chance. Okay, sir, I'm not sure to say this. Okay, so there are multiple experiences for interviews.
So, Miss, just one important question. What was your actual daily schedule in all the three stages? Like before prelims, between the prelims and the mains, and finally between the mains and the interview.
See, these three stages of exam, all these three stages are different. Okay, so you have to have a different strategy for all the three stages. Okay, so for prelims preparation, I was like, I had to sit for multiple hours. Okay, so I used to sit for multiple hours, and for like, I used to wake up at 9 a.m. I'm not the morning person, so from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. I used to start. Okay, so 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. 9 a.m. to till 11:30 in the morning. 11:30 in the morning. Then I used to have lunch, and then after that, for 3 to 8, that was my best time. 3 to 8, that was my best time for the preparation. And after that, I used to have dinner. And after that, I used to continue with my preparation again. And for 9 to 2 p.m., 9 to 2 a.m. in the morning. Okay, that was the best time of my preparation. Okay, so and for interview, like you have a lot of time for the preparation of the interview, and the preparation for the interview is very less, but preparation for this mains, it is very hectic. You have to spend lot of hours in the preparation of the mains. Okay, so I had to sit for long hours on daily basis. For at least 3 months, I used to sit for at least 13 to 14 hours every day in the mains preparation. And interview was, let's see, it is fun. Always prepare for interview is fun. You have to go for the mock interviews, then they will give you some feedback, and you have to talk about that. Okay, that was always a fun. Okay, so yes, you have to have always different strategy for all the stages.
I think rain is coming, so
Yes.
okay. We'll go for the last question. One important question which Akash noted: does language really matter? Like some of students might belong to a village area and have studied till 12 in their state language. Like you studied in Marathi. Many the South Indian people would study in Telugu or their regional languages. So what is it? We should prefer native languages, or we have to go to English as a medium for our interviews and all?
So for the first time in my life, I am teaching to the people. I am conducting this session in the rain. This rain has started. Okay, but no issue. But yes, medium has a lot of importance, because see, the availability of the material is very important. Because in English there is lot of material available with all in the market. Okay, like for optional, it is important to have the material availability. Okay, so I would prefer to prepare in the English. Okay, so it is for any regional language, any vernacular medium, it is difficult to get the good material. Okay, but yes, if possible for you, English is not such a big thing. Once you start the reading of the newspaper, definitely you can prepare in the English. Okay.
Okay, so I
Yes.
think we should end the session now, since you are now okay. Thanks a lot, Yogesh, again for joining us and accepting my invitation. And thanks a lot, all of you, for giving a huge response. Like we saw more than 120 participants. So thanks a lot. We will be more session. We will bring more sessions to you, and the next session is scheduled on 23 of All India Rank 7, who is an alumni of IIT Kanpur. So see you in that session. And again, thanks a lot, Yogesh, for your brilliant session. Thanks a
My
lot.
last message to the students is just see the dream. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam has said that low aim is a crime. Okay, so have big aim in your life and give your 100%. Okay, have that dedication, hard work, consistency, and you can achieve whatever you have desired. Okay, and I have been helping so many students. So I would share the link of my Telegram channel and YouTube channel to the Mukulesh, and I hope you form a group of engineers across the Indian college. If you form one group of engineers only, I would be happy to help you people, because there are many engineers and we can have a different strategy for engineers. Okay, so I would share the link of my Telegram channel and YouTube channel with the Mukulesh. Do join it, and I would like to get into contact with all of you again. And my best wishes to all of you. Prepare very hard. Whatever you do in your life, always have that mindset to give at least 1% of your lifetime to your country, because we owe this everything to our country. And on the day of independence, we all should take this pledge that we will spend at least some part of our life to our country. So my best wishes to all of you, and thank you, Mukulesh, for giving me this opportunity to discuss with young minds of our country.
Thanks a lot. Thanks again. Yeah. So we may end this session now. Thanks a lot, all of you, for joining.